Yo ho ho, what is up, my kingdom crew, my jewelers, my people? Hope you guys are having a good day. We're having a great video for you today. We're gonna talk about like how to even look at good heroes and how to evaluate them, and like how to shop for a new hero if you are pretty new into DeFi kingdoms. If you're trying to stay up to date with the latest and greatest DeFi content, if you're trying to get the latest and greatest updates for DeFi Kingdoms content, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. We just hit 2,000 subscribers recently. Woo! We are definitely going to do an event, so stay tuned for that. Also, just note that I am not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes and educational purposes only. Let's hop into it. Alright, so maybe you just heard about DeFi Kingdoms, maybe you've been farming the liquidity pools for a little bit and testing out the interface, and you're ready to buy your first hero. First, we're going to talk about what your objectives are and what are the different things that you can do with your heroes. So heroes are made for questing, and they're made for summoning right now, are their two main utilities. Right now, the only quest right now is the Wishing Well, which can give you the DFK tiers or the Gaia's tiers, and those are used to summon new heroes. Right now, one of the Gaia's tiers costs about $1 or so in USD value, and that price has been sustaining about that point for about a week or so, and I think it will sustain around there for a decent while of time. And when you do a quest, you can quest with your hero up to 3 times a day to get their full amount of questing in, and there's a chance to get anywhere between 0 and about 18 to 20 tiers has been the maximum that's ever been output on that. So right now with the Wishing Well quest, I would say that you can expect to get maybe about 2 tiers per hero per day if you are doing all 3 of the quests, just because there are so many times that you get less than that. So that's about $6 a day, and any of our heroes on the marketplace can produce that for you. And there is no difference between the heroes and how well they perform in the Wishing Well quest. All of the heroes perform exactly the same on the Wishing Well quest. The other utility that the heroes have is with summoning. So to summon a hero, all you have to do is go over into the portal, and in the portal you can infuse a hero NFT crystal by adding 2 heroes into the pool. And what this does is that it will decrease the summons that the hero has by 1. So if we look at this hero, for example, it has 6 out of 6 summons remaining. So if I were to summon with this hero, that would reduce by 1. And that's very important to know. So you can choose to summon with your heroes, and I would recommend this if you do have a little bit more money to put into the game, and you're not just like straggling with one hero or barely coming up with enough to get one hero, which I know a lot of people are in that position. And if you are in that position where it's a little bit harder, actually renting out a hero is a really great option. So even if you just look at some of our normal heroes to rent out, you can, we're looking at legendaries right now, but if we look at our normal heroes to rent out, you can get a couple jewel for every rental that you dish out. This is going down a little bit. These used to be much more lucrative, where you could easily get about 5 to 10 jewel for your commons and uncommons. Let's look at like what a rare rental is running right now. It's about 5 to 10 jewel. Actually 5 is the floor. It seems like between 10 and 20 here seems to be more typical. But that's another really great option that you can sell those rentals out and get some additional jewel through. So when you're thinking about your hero selection, it's really important to consider that. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to summon the heroes yourself, or are you going to rent them out? All of the heroes can quest, so don't think about that as a different factor between any of them. But if you have cheaper heroes and you want to run the quests really hard, then the cheaper heroes are always going to be better, because the better heroes do not perform better on the quests. Alright, let's go ahead and look at our summoning sheet real quick. So this is the sheet that alll made. Thank you. It's an awesome resource for the community that shows like how the advanced classes are made. In my personal opinion, I think you should always summon in pairs that produce advanced classes, unless you're going for something very specific. The reason for that right now is that advanced classes are worth significantly more than the basic classes on general, as long as the rolls are decent. So you should pretty much always go for them and summon in these pairs. So if you want to get 2 heroes, then I would highly recommend getting a pair of these heroes that is compatible with each other. So if you want to summon some paladins, paladins, then maybe getting a warrior and a knight would be good. Getting an archer and a thief will give you the chance at our dark knights. So what's actually a really good strategy if you're like a higher spender is that you could get one hero of each of these that are all pretty solid, and then if you get any paladins or dark knights, then you could try to summon some dragoons. So that can be a really good strategy where you kind of find your niche in like summoning on this half of the plane. If you want to summon for our ninjas, you want to summon with a pirate and a monk together, and then summoners with our wizards and priests. Ninjas and summoners will make the sage, and now the sage and dragoon together will make the dread knight. So when you are buying your heroes, make sure to buy some pairs. And if you want to start a little bit higher up here, maybe start with a paladin and a dark knight. That is also a feasible option if you want to just go straight for dragoons. I would highly recommend that you do have a little bit more flexible cash if you're going for that strategy, but it is totally a feasible strategy. Now we have another really great resource. So this is a chart that shows the summoning costs per hero given the generation of the hero and how many summons that it has left. So really interesting mechanics that they threw in here, Frisky Fox created with DeFi Kingdoms, and actually was one of the things that really made me really bullish on the ecosystem coming from Axie Infinity. So let's look at this, is that the number of times that the hero summons, the more expensive the summon gets. So once you summon like 4, 5, 6 times, pretty much for all the heroes, it gets kind of a little bit pricey no matter what. So our Gen Zeros, they are the most valuable heroes because even if they've summoned more than 13 times, remember Gen Zeros have unlimited summons, that price is never going to go over 30 jewel. So if you're summoning 2 heroes together, then you'll create a two Gen Zero heroes together, then you'll create a Gen 1 that has 10 summons. And that becomes really valuable because if we see a Gen 1 that has 10 summons, the first summon only costs 16 jewel, and the last summon only costs 34 jewel. So that's a lot cheaper than some of these other ones. So kind of the formula for this is that the later generation that the hero is, that it costs 10 more jewel per generation per hero. So we can see like once we get up to like Gen 3 or so, whoa, these prices are way different now when we're summoning, where it's actually 30 more jewel. And with jewel now like averaging around $6 or so, that's a really significant difference when you're summoning a hero, and that difference can really cut into your profits. So if you are looking to summon, it's very valuable to get the lower generation heroes. I mean, if you can really splurge, you can go for a Gen 0 or 2, but those are not cheap anymore. But these Gen 1s here, they have really good summoning value because you can get a new hero. If you do 2 Gen 1s together, that's only 32 jewel to summon a new hero, plus the amount for tiers as well. So super reasonable there. If I would always recommend getting lower generation, it's always going to be better because it's going to have cheaper costs for summoning. And also if you're renting out, it's more desirable to rent out these heroes because the Gen 2 would have to actually be 10 jewel better, and that price is going to be reflected into the renting costs once the the economy kind of figures us out and sees how big of a difference is these later generation costs can cost. I want to look at one more chart before we get rocking into the tavern, but this is our profession chart. So it shows what stats are best for each of the professions. I talked about this on a few of my live streams, so this chart also includes what classes are best for each profession. Note that not every paladin is going to be better than every dark knight at mining. You also have to consider what the stats actually roll like. So a lot of stat increases are actually based off of luck. So if you didn't luck out, then your paladin may be weaker than maybe even a warrior that mining. So make sure you are considering that, not just like, oh, it's got this, so it's the best, but more look at like the stat totals. So if you want a good miner, strength and endurance are going to be the stats that you want to look at. If you want a good gardener, wisdom and vitality are good to look at. Foraging and fishing have been announced to be the professions that are going to be released first. So mining and gardening are going to be a little bit later down the timeline, but we will be able to forage and fish. And for those 2 professions, we need dexterity and intelligence for foraging. And lastly, for fishing, we need luck and agility. And you can see the heroes that tend to be best at those professions here. Okay, I lied. One more. Got him. All right. Well, whoever made this chart too, also really awesome, and thank you. So this one, it shows the different percent chances of getting certain heroes when you're parenting with different pairs. So this has here when you're pairing up with 2 commons, 2 uncommons, 2 rares, 2 legendaries, 2 mythics. I'd be really curious to know like what the combos look like. So what does it look like when you do like a mythic with a rare, for example? But to read this chart, it shows nice bar graphs about what the percent chance is to get each hero. So for example, when you're summoning with 2 mythics, you still have a 40% chance at getting a common, 32.5% chance at getting an uncommon, but that mythic chance does go up very significantly, up to 3.5% chance, where when you're summoning with 2 commons, it's 0.5% chance. So anybody that's summoned a mythic with 2 commons, very impressive. I haven't summoned a mythic at all. It's been like at least 50, 60, I don't know how many summons, but no mythics for Tosh yet. But definitely something to consider too, and if you're renting out or gambling a little bit with your summons. All right, sweet. So we're going to go ahead and look in the tavern and look at some of the prices of these heroes and look at some of the heroes to evaluate. So when you're buying your heroes, note that you typically want to go for the lower generation heroes. And there is a really nice filter here that you can use to filter those out. So like I said, if you're trying to summon hard, I would try to get some fresher heroes that are no greater than Gen 2 or so. And that's if you're trying to really get all the summons out of your hero and use them for your own. If you're renting out, it doesn't matter quite as much, but I think the market is going to start hitting on or like catching on that like, hey, these higher generation heroes like really aren't worth it to rent, even if it is only 1 jewel or whatever. So keep that in mind. You can use that filter. So let's go filter this out by 2nd generation here. So we see a lot of these guys on the floor here on 56 to 60 jewel right now. Do note today is November 16th, and the market is changing very rapidly. So keep an eye on these floor prices and where they're going. But these heroes here, even though they're Gen 2s, like still not very good. So they have 3 summons left on this one. That means the first offspring that it produces is only going to have 2 summons left. So pretty weak hero. Like if as far as summoning goes, you're not going to get a whole lot of mileage out of him. But remember, if you're just trying to quest and get a couple tiers every day, that is an option with any of our heroes. Let's go ahead and evaluate stats real quick. So I like to look for heroes that have at least 20 plus of a stat in a situation. I also, I kind of separate my heroes into 2 teams. So it's like, are you on my team summon, or are you on my team, like my team? Like I'm going to keep this hero for a while. And I have those heroes that have 0 summons left that I'm like, I'm holding on to you. You're my soldier. So usually what I'm looking for commons, I want to have at least 20 to 21 points of any given profession. So this is a warrior. It's actually pretty solid miner here on the floor at 56 jewel. So it has 21 points in mining. It doesn't have the mining bonus. I want to talk a little bit about this bonus. Is that all it does is it gives you 10% bonuses to your total overall. So the things that are going to be most important for a profession are what the profession score is. That's not really too clear, like how that's going to get leveled up, but I think like similar to like World of Warcraft professions, that practice is going to increase skill. So the more they engage in that profession, the better that they're going to get at it. And then the other bigger factor is the stats on it. So the stats relating to the professions, again, for mining, we're looking at strength and endurance. We got 21 point total, which makes this guy a pretty good miner, but he's got the gardening bonus. Does that mean he's a good gardener? Well, no. So gardening requires wisdom and vitality. He has 14 points for that total. So even though he has gardening as his bonus, he's not a very good gardener. Sorry, Mr. Warrior. So they did recently announce that they are going to put in a filter for how many summons that the hero has remaining soon too. So that's going to be really helpful to help filter out some of these ones. Let's just keep scrolling. So we're still looking at the floor here on 65 jewel. None of these heroes have more than 6 or 7 summons left. So like 7 summons at 65 or so. But if we want to get something that has like 8 to 10, it's going to be a lot more. So yeah, we still haven't even found that yet, and we're getting towards 70 jewel floor. So 8 summons here for 69, another one for 69. So you can, I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can see just as this amount of summons goes up, that the hero does become more valuable. And if you're a seller, you should rate it as more valuable. If you're a buyer, you should snatch up those cheap ones. let's go ahead and take a look at the advanced classes real quick. So with these, they only have 5 summons at the max. So even if you are summoning with 2 Gen 1s, if you summon an advanced class, it will have 5 summons maximum. And also, it does require more tiers to summon with your advanced classes. So it does cost 40 tiers per hero instead of the 10 tiers per hero. So it is kind of a minimal cost at this point, since the tiers have gotten so cheap and jewels becoming really the biggest part of summoning nowadays. But it is something to consider. So when you're renting out your advanced classes, you can actually get significantly more for renting them out, and especially if it has 3 or more. So think about it. If you have a summoner, for example, you summon it with a ninja and they both have 3 summons left. Well, if you get lucky and get the sage, that sage is going to have 2 summons. So that means that it's going to have 2 attempts at a Dread Knight. If we look at the elite classes for hiring, right now the floor for any dragoon or sage just to summon the hero with that hero, the rental cost is about 300 to 350 jewel. So if you summon like a sage, for example, with 4 summons left, that's a lot of profit that you can get just off of that summon, and that's why having those high amounts of summons for your advanced classes is super important. One more thing that I want to note is that if your main mission is to just kind of cycle through some heroes and get some quick summons off, and I'm like mainly going for advanced classes, it's okay to pull heroes that are just only have like 6 or so summons remaining from your basic classes, because the first summon on that is going to be a 5 out of 5 if it is does land to be an advanced class. But the higher the amount of summons that you have, the more chances that you have to get this. So DeFi Kingdoms is all about playing the luck and probability, and if you play it right, the ecosystem is really made really nicely to get lots and lots of profits. Again, not financial advice, but I've been playing this game really well, and it's been working out very well for me. So sharing the strategies to get you there too. Alright, well, I'm actually going to go ahead and wrap up this guide, but hopefully just me talking about these things to consider is going to help you out on choosing your hero to enter the DeFi Kingdoms. Hope you enjoyed this. Again, like and subscribe if you are interested in getting more of this content. We are going to do a live stream on Thursday, and Superior Form, our big whale, is going to be joining us along with a bunch of other people to have some fun and summon some heroes, and we're going to do a giveaway to celebrate. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be on Thursday. I think it's going to be around 7 p.m. Eastern time. Well, that's all for this video. Again, think about these things. Do some investigation into the market. Watch the market for a couple days if you're a little skeptical about making your first purchases before you do so. That can be very helpful. But that's going to be the end of this one. Actually, stay tuned if you want to see me maybe summon a Dread Knight. I'm literally going to go for it live right after, so we'll see what happens. Well, welcome back, guys. It's been like a whole 1 minute since I closed out the last video. We're gonna go ahead and summoning hat on, of course. Here we go. We're gonna go for a Dread Knight. Let's do it. Oh, snap. Look, see, I didn't even change my filters yet, guys. They're still from the last video. Or from the video you just watched. Hope you liked it. Really cool video. Well, it looks like the filters are messing up a little bit, or I'm messing up the filters. I mean, the DFK is perfect, of course. So, yeah, actually, let me just get this down to the wire here. We need my sage. We need my dragoon. Where y'all at? We're using the common sage today. Let's see. Apply that. Where'd the dragoon go? There he is. Alright, this is the last summon for these 2 heroes. I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't get it, but oh man, I really want those wings on a Dread Knight. Please, please, please. 126 jewel summon cost, 140 tiers. We racked these up earlier. Here we go. Let's get hype. I'm shaking, guys. Here we go. Here we go. Confirming. Where's the crystal? I think. Oh, it's almost fate sealed here. Oh. Ooh, there it is. Guys, if it's a Dread Knight, I'm not giving it away. Sorry. Alright, was it 10 seconds yet? Definitely not, but I even have a timer on my screen and I can't be that patient. Alright, let's see that big ass sword come out of the portal. Big ass sword with the wings. uh, 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 uh. Ah. Nope. No Dread Knight. We got a Dragoon though. It's neutered. No summons. Common Dragoon. Neutered. Man, there's so many stats, but no Dread Knight, guys. Sorry.